What's up everybody, Wolf Overlord here with another storytime video. Today we're going to be talking about the time I got in trouble by an off-duty officer. So without further ado, let's jump into it. So it was a typical day during the weekend, I believe, and my friend, let's call him Jake. Jake lived in the city below me, but not even more than a few miles from my house, and he wanted to chill. So I said, okay, grabbed my board and skated to his house. Once I was there, we hung out, watched a few videos on YouTube, then went swimming in his pool. After that, we thought it would be funny to do some pranks on people, so we filled up some water balloons and we're planning to throw them at cars passing through his neighborhood, like on the street in front of his house. No, it's not the smartest idea and it can be dangerous, but for the most part, it's harmless. Me and a few of my old friends used to jump on his trampoline with a hose, actually, and we would spray it to, like, on the cars that would drive by on the street, and it was fucking hilarious, okay, until we got in trouble, but that's a different time. Back to this story, however. We filled up the balloons, went out to his front yard, and were waiting for cars. 2 or 3 passed by, but we were too scared to do it, and finally, when I had the courage to do it, Jake looks at me and says, "Bro, not this one." I was like, dude, come on. I was like, I'm gonna fucking do it. And he's like, no, dude, don't do this one. So I looked back at him and I said, fuck it. And I chucked the water balloon at the car heading down the street away from us. It skidded across his roof and exploded on the passenger side. Then the car slams on its brakes and the guy swings the door open and starts running towards us. As soon as this happened, me and Jake turned around immediately to start running towards his backyard. Then the guy he yells at us, he's like, don't fucking move. And because we were little, we just kind of stopped, froze in fear. He gets up to us and says, don't you know how dangerous this is? Then pulls out his badge real quick and is like, I'm a cop. And I guess this guy had just gotten off work, I think. But at this point, he takes me over to the curb on the opposite side of the street, has me sit on it, and then he makes Jake sit on the curb in front of his house, so opposite side from me. So I think it's because they don't want us sitting together or talking about what we're gonna say to the cops or some bullshit like that. But I was sitting there for like 5 minutes, and another cop rolls up right next to the curb I was sitting on. At this point, the first cop, the one I threw the water balloon at, he was talking to Jake's parents while I was sitting on the curb. Shortly after the second cop arrived, a third pulled up. I guess the cop had thrown the cop that I had thrown the water balloon at, like I said, I guess he'd just gotten off work. And so he was probably fucking pissed, dude. Like, he's like, I don't want to deal with this shit. So he just wanted to make the situation seem a whole lot worse than it was by calling 2 extra fucking cops. Or maybe that's protocol, I don't know. It just seemed a bit unnecessary. And that's what I was thinking, honestly. I was literally sitting there thinking, is this really fucking necessary for there to be 3 cops here for 2 little kids throwing water balloons at a car? Like, come on. And so the cops come over to me and start asking me for my name and where I lived and stuff like that. When they asked me for my address, I told them I didn't know, because I honestly didn't know my address. And the cop looks at me and he's like, how old are you? And you don't know your address? Seriously? And granted, I should have known it, but I never cared to learn it. I don't know why. I mean, I know my current address now, but I just never bothered to learn it when I was little. But I was still thinking, like, fuck you, bro. Like, don't fucking criticize me for not knowing my address, you fuck. Anyways, I explained to him about where I lived, and then he says, okay. After writing all that down, he walks over to Jake's parents and asks them if they wanted them to take me home or let Jake's parents deal with me, pretty much. And Jake's mom looked at me as, like, one of her own kids, like as a son of hers. So she just told them that she would deal with me. After that, the cops gave us a lecture about how throwing water balloons at cars is dangerous, and that, yeah, they just gave us that whole lecture, And then after that, they got in their cars and they all left. Then Jake's dad looks at us and says, "Get the rakes because you're raking the yard." Which wasn't even that hard because there was barely any leaves on the ground. But yeah, that's pretty much it. That's how I got in trouble with an off-duty officer. Before we go, I would just like to thank Cinch Gaming for sponsoring this video. If you haven't already, be sure to check out their website to get some badass gaming gear. If you happen to purchase anything, you can use code WolfOverlord to receive a 5% discount. Thank you so much everybody for watching. If you haven't already, be sure to leave a like, comment what you would like me to do or see next. Also, turn on those bell notifications, that way you can be notified every single time I upload. Let's try and hit 10 likes on today's video. I hope you all enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you next time.